This is Kerrigan and Company. Why have a job when you can have a purpose? When you work for the Northeast Arc, you're joining a team dedicated to creating inclusive communities for people with disabilities. As an organization that supports more than 10,000 people each year, it's easy to find a role that fits your skills and passion. Become part of an organization that's been named one of the best employers in Massachusetts. Visit nearc.org/careers now to view job opportunities and apply. That's nearc.org/careers. We have three distinct voices on this week's episode of Kerrigan and Company.
Kerrigan and Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan and Company is here for you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Kerrigan and Company. So good to have you with us today, and I'm really looking forward to this episode because a longtime friend of mine who I've tried to get on the show numerous times and schedules just didn't work is finally here keeping me company. This is someone I think you'll recognize, but I know for a fact you will recognize his voice. It is a voice that has been in this marketplace and actually across the country for the last 40 years. If you've been a WBZ fan, you will know it, and you'll know it for a lot of other reasons as well. It is so good to have voiceover artist and radio host Jordan Rich with me today, and it's great to see you.
It's great to see you. Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely.
And, I love the setup, and I love the mug. I'm really happy about that.
And you know it's yours to keep forever.
Well, it will be kept forever with usually a nice hot liquid to get my day started.
There Perfect. You go. I love that. I wasn't exaggerating, was I, when I said, first off, we've known each other for a long time.
Oh, gosh, yes. I've been in the market my entire life. I grew up here, and you arrived in what year, roughly?
Gosh, 93-ish?
Oh, yes. Then we've known each other our whole lives.
Yeah. I mean, we've known each other for a long time. I mean, so much so that at one point I called you and I said, Jordan, I would like to consider the idea of doing some voiceover work. If I came down, would you sit with me and talk me through it? And I came down and spent time with you, and it was fantastic.
And listen to the voice you have today.
Well, I got to tell you, you have something to do with it. There's no exaggeration about
pleasure,
that. You and my parents.
Oh, yes.
I can attribute it to both
There's
of you.
some heredity involved and gene work involved as well.
That's it.
But no, you've had a great career, and I'm so happy for your success with the podcast.
Well, thank you. You, too, are a podcaster, and I was a guest on your podcast.
That's correct. That's right. Mine's an audio podcast for obvious reasons. And it's been great fun. You know, when the radio stuff started to taper off in terms of talk radio, I knew about podcasting, but I was sort of new in the game, and I got into it and haven't looked back. It's just so much fun.
It is fun. You know, it's a whole new world, but it's an important world. I mean, this digital world is really where everybody's going. It's where people are getting their information. They're being entertained. I have such an appreciation for it.
Remember when television first arrived with the concept of pay TV, and people said, we'll never pay for TV, it's free. And then satellite radio came along, we'll never pay for that. Well, now the entree and choices is just insane in terms of what you can find content-wise, and most of it is for free.
Yeah.
And available when you want it, radio on demand or TV on demand.
I think that's the part of it that is so great. You know, it's on demand. It's when you want it. I have a number of different podcasts that I follow, and I'll get halfway through an episode, and I can, you can stop it because you've been interrupted, and you can go back, and you know. Unfortunately, when I'm in the middle of a live talk show, that's not necessarily the case.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, no, I think it gives artists such as you and me a chance to do what we've always done and continue doing what we've always done without sort of the restrictions and reservations and so forth that befell us when we were working for the man, still the man. No, I think it's the great golden age 3 of media.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jordan. I have to tell you, we've had a few guests in here who have slipped and used some 4-letter words, and they go, oh, and we go, it's okay.
Well,
nobody has to hit the button.
I'm pretty much automatic pilot. When there's a microphone, I'm
you
good.
And me both.
Take the mic away, and anything goes.
That's so true. That's so true. 40 years, I said. How many of those did you spend at WBZ?
Well, it's coming up on 30 years, I think, this year.
Wow.
And for a long time, I was one of the kids at 30 years going.
Yeah.
But it coming up on 30 years, and then prior to that, I worked at 2 or 3 other stations in Boston. And and when people say you started when you were how old, and I tell them pretty much in high school, but professionally when I was 19. So,
Wow.
Very lucky.
So at 19, did you know that you had those pipes and that you could use them the way you have?
I knew I had pipes.
Yeah.
At 13, because my voice changed and my whole adolescence arrived, and puberty, and all of a sudden my voice went from up here to way down here, and I knew something was there that I could work with. But the real story behind the story is I loved radio when I was a kid. I loved acting. I loved performing in theater, and somebody told me, well, you should look into going into broadcasting school. And I thought, that's a darn good idea, because I love it. It's make-believe. It's pretend. I used to listen to people from faraway lands in bed when I was 6, 7 years old on the AM radio. So it was a natural progression for me. I didn't want to sit behind a desk. I wanted to sit behind a studio panel.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Well, thank goodness for you, your voice dropped, because you would have had a little trouble.
It also saved me in high school, working my way around bullies and so forth, throw my voice and pretend to be a teacher or the principal. So it comes in handy when you need it.
It certainly does. Well, you have done so many live talk shows and so many Connoisseur's Corner. Oh, I always loved that. That was so fun. I love it.
I'm still doing that.
Yeah. You do it to this day?
I do features on BZ.
But not quite as regularly as you did, right?
Well, no. Once a week I present 20 features. So I mean.
Oh my gosh, Jordan! I didn't realize
everything
that.
from books to movies to New England weekend events and Connoisseur's Corner and.
I did not realize that you were still doing it as frequently.
But it's on my time, so I put it. They give me a lot of leeway for content and creation and so forth. So
Awesome.
It's very good.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, that's real. Well, you've earned it.
Yeah, I like to think I've earned it. I'm very lucky though, because very few people get to stay at the same place for so long.
Yeah.
There's so many different owners and changes and so forth. And so
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
You also are the co-owner of Chart Productions, which you've owned you and Ken Carberry have had for how long?
Well, that's another long-distance story. I mean, we met at college, Curry College in Milton, Massachusetts, where Ken is still a professor of radio and TV. And we met in 1976, formed a business, fledgling DJ business in 79, and officially became Chart Productions in, I think, 1980.
Wow.
So that's a lot of years.
Yes, it is
almost
a
50
lot of years.
And it's been fun. I mean, we are two peas in a pod. You know him as well. Mm-hmm. We're both eager, anticipating the work, love the goofing around when we're not working or when we're working. Either way, we have a similar sense of humor, and he's like a brother to me.
That's so great. That's great. Well, I am familiar because I have a radio show, and Chart Productions, they are the ones who produce my radio show, and so
That's right.
I'm always very appreciative and have known you guys much longer than that because of the commercial work that you've done in the business, in the marketplace. And,
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a coterie of people, and you've had many of them on here, I know, who are part of the Boston fabric, whether they are currently on air or not. And it's a small but very exciting club to be part of.
Absolutely.
Nice people.
Absolutely. You're so exactly right. So you're also an author.
Well, yes, I wrote one book.
Yep, I want it. Radio. It's my 50-year love affair with radio.
Now, I say 50 because I started the high school story first.
Sure.
So that made sense.
Absolutely.
But that's a memoir of my years on air, some of the interesting people I've met, and also some of my personal story as well.
Tell me about some of the interesting people you've met.
Oh, my God. I mean, I've interviewed literally thousands of people, and I still do. But, I mean, from the famous to the infamous, some of my favorite people were nonagenarians like Carl Reiner, Stan Lee. There's a whole list. If I even borrow the book for a second.
Sure. You sound exactly like me. I have to go back and look to see who some of the people are.
I mean, most of the actors, I don't know if people younger would actually know, but a lot of the people in here, James Levine, these are musicians, Johnny Mathis,
Oh, yeah.
John Pizzarelli, Leanne Rimes, Kenny Rogers. I can't
They just
remember.
keep coming,
They
right?
just keep coming. William Shatner. I mean, one after another. And those are just the famous people, the
Yeah.
celebrities. More interesting are some of the ordinary people who have extraordinary stories.
Isn't that the truth? I really, I like you, have had the great pleasure of interviewing a lot of people who are, like you said, either infamous or famous.
Right.
But it's the guy. It's what I'll never forget. One of my favorite stories was a pumpkin farmer that I went to interview, and his entire crop was underwater. And there he was trying to figure out what he was going to do for the next year with no crop. It was the best story that I've ever covered, and I followed him then from that day for a full year to see how he recovered. And it was just a fabulous story. And
Did he patch things up?
he patched things up. He actually found a second crop to put into that field once it dried. It was the only time he ever did it, but it was a really cool story.
Well, it's true. I think one of the things I do on BZ now is called The Upside with Jordan, which is a good news story. And I hunt for those kinds of stories.
Sure.
I just do a little vignette. And there are so many amazing examples of people doing incredible things and having incredible life stories.
Yeah,
that
it's
they're
so
worth
true.
telling.
You bet.
Yeah.
You have another story, another life story. This one, I think, started in the fall of 2024.
23, actually.
So you announced it in did you announce it early in 24?
Early in
Okay.
24.
Okay. I couldn't remember I remember when you announced it because I saw the Facebook post when you announced it. You have Parkinson's.
Yes.
And caught you off guard. You had absolutely no idea, right?
Well, yes, completely off guard, although I should have been aware of the fact that because I was diagnosed with something called REM sleep disorder or REM body disorder or REM movement disorder about 7 years earlier and some sleep apnea, I didn't realize that that was a precursor to many who get Parkinson's.
No doctor ever told you that.
Well, no, I didn't know that. And it's no regrets because there's nothing I could have done to prevent
Sure.
it necessarily. But I was flabbergasted when I was given the news because I felt fine. I didn't notice anything. Other people noticed things. My wife, some of her relatives noticed the way I was stooped over and walking. It's over. So yeah, it was pretty something. Having never been sick, physically sick in my life, never had a operation, never went in the hospital for anything. So I began coming out of my 3 or 4 month shell of self-pity and did a lot of investigating and still am every day looking into new things, new trials, new issues. And I don't think there's any simple way to say this except you got to go through it. You can't go around it.
Yeah. Do you have symptoms now?
My symptoms are what many would call very mild and manageable, but they're uncomfortable. One of the symptoms of Parkinson's, you may notice I don't have a tremor. I'm not.
Right.
I don't have any
right.
tremor in my body. I walk fine. I balance.
We think of Michael J. Fox immediately,
right,
I think.
Exactly. And he was a young onset at 29. My main symptom is muscle rigidity and stiffness. So I wake up in the morning before I get my medication going. I feel as though I've worked out and have either that or have the flu. My
Right.
muscles hurt. So that's the one thing that I'm trying to work on to sort of mitigate as much as I can. Otherwise, I'm still working, I'm still functioning, and I got into exercise like I'd never had before, because that's the key, exercise. And I work out formally 4 times a week, high-intensity exercise, and then I go to the gym every day if I can. So I'm feeling pretty well, but everybody's course is different. Everybody's path is different. It's a very, very insidious condition because we still haven't figured out how to stop it. We can just mitigate the symptoms.
What do doctors tell you is the prognosis?
My doctor, who is one of the best at Mass General, says you should be able to live a long life with your disease, and as things come up, we'll deal with them. So that's the kind of doctor you like, right?
Right.
Yeah. They say you don't die from Parkinson's, you die with it.
Yes.
But it's all about health and holistic health. So now I didn't have to change my diet that much, but I really focus on diet, eating non-processed foods and Mediterranean diet. Exercise is mentioned. Sleep is critical, so I get as much sleep as I can. Drink a lot of water in my new mug. And, work on meditation and just kind of relaxing and trying to get through it.
Sure, absolutely. I haven't known you to have slowed down at all. It appears to me that, you just keep a pretty rigorous schedule.
I do, and I think that's, for me, a very healthy way to go, because a lot of people would obviously give up. I mean, it's very easy to say, oh, God, I can't take this. Let me just curl up and watch TV all day. But there's an expression, fight back, and one of the places I go to to train is called 110 Fitness, where it's all about fighting back and doing the fitness and so forth. So the book you're referring to, I didn't write, but I participated as the subject. And I always like to preface this, Kim, by saying I don't want to come off as some hero that I've conquered it, that I'm just living a great life health-wise, because I'm not. But I'm living the best life I can, doing whatever I can to stay the course. And you know what? That's called living. I mean, you just have to get out there and be resilient.
Sure. Let me say, Jordan Rich's journey, it's a path of purpose, strength, and hope with Parkinson's. And this was written by a PhD with having interviewed you and you participating in the book. Would you say that I'm going to jump out on a limb here and say something, because you've said 2 or 3 things since you've been in this studio with me today. First is that my producer asked you, well, how are you doing? And your answer was really great. And I want you, so I'm going to ask you here on the air, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty well. I mean, I don't like to compare myself to anybody else. I'm not where I was prior to all this, and I don't think that is ever going to come back. But I'm here, I'm standing, I'm walking, I'm breathing, I'm able to chew and swallow and eat and use my voice and see my grandkids and do all the things that I'm supposed to do. So, yeah, I'm pretty good.
And you said you take it every day.
Yeah, and I will say this. The research goes on. I'm working with the American Parkinson's Disease Association of Massachusetts. I'm working with a bunch of organizations, both in fundraising and awareness, because there are more people studying how to defeat Parkinson's than ever before. We are so close. It may not be next year or 3 years from now, but within 5 years, they say we might have the secret sauce. And that could be stem cell transfer, that could be new medications, it could be introducing something to change the mitochondrial makeup of your brain. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. So patience, I'm not a patient person, but I have to consider it a virtue at this point, and very important.
Well, it sounds like there's really exciting research, and a lot of that has come from the fundraising and the awareness that Michael J. Fox has brought to this disease,
Michael
right?
is an enormously incredible individual. We all know that. There's another gentleman, Davis Finney, who was kind enough to make a little endorsement in the book. And the book isn't intended, Jordan's Rich Journey is intended to remind people that we're all human, we all have our fears, our weaknesses, but we can subjugate some of that with determination and keeping to a schedule and just fighting back, as hard as it is. It's, believe me, there are people a lot more challenged in many areas than I'll ever be. But hopefully, we can raise a little money and support people through their fight.
Well, we have much more to talk to Jordan Rich about, including I want to ask you a few more things about Parkinson's, but we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
Before we do, I just want to tell you the name of the book again is Jordan Rich's Journey.
Actually, it's Jordan's Rich Journey.
Get that? Exactly. Jordan's Rich Journey.
See, that's the pun. I'm always into puns. So.
I love that. A path of purpose, strength, and hope with Parkinson's. Where can people get this book?
Well, it's available anywhere you get books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, but you can also go to my website, which is my name, jordanrich.com, and order it directly.
And proceeds from this book go
to two places, 110 Fitness in Rockland and the American PD Association of Mass.
Yeah, which is just so great that's what's happening with the book. Let's take a break, everybody. When we come back, we're going to talk to a very good friend of Jordan's who, you want to talk about somebody who's overcome some real challenges, but she's done it with a sense of humor, and you've got to see this. So stay with us, everybody. This is Kerrigan & Company.
Get ready for another dazzling season of musicals at Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater. The rhythm is gonna get you when the 2026 season begins in June with On Your Feet, the inspiring true story of Emilio and Gloria Estefan.
Get on your feet. Get up and make it happen.
Followed by a colorful production of the family favorite, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Joseph, you know what they say.
And it will be nothing but a good time when Rock of Ages rocks the NSMT stage. That is followed by the breathtaking Tony Award-winning musical, Come From Away.
Welcome to the Rock.
And the season ends with a haunting production of Yeston and Kopit's Phantom. For more information about North Shore Music Theater tickets, discount subscription packages, and our full season of kid shows and concerts, please visit nsmt.org.
This segment of Kerrigan & Company is brought to you by Lucia Lighting and Design, where people in the know go for the best possible lighting and design experience. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan & Company. Great to have you with us today. And, of course, keeping me company today, longtime friend Jordan Rich is with me. So far, we're having a good time, huh?
Having a ball, absolutely.
Again, I just want to thank you so much for finding the time to get here because you are a very busy man. And then I love the fact that you're so candid about your entire life. So thank you. It's good to have you.
My pleasure.
So I said to you, Jordan, do you have anybody, because you interview so many people, as you have told us, you have anybody that you'd like to interview? And you said, oh, yes, I do.
I have a feeling you and your audience are going to love this lady. I fell in love with her about 10 years ago. Well, I'd make it 15 years ago almost. And she's a complete lunatic, which is why we get along so well. No, she's actually one of the more talented independent musicians in America, maybe in the world. And her story is not only dramatic, but it's funny, and there's pathos, and there's challenge, and it's just a great story of comeback.
Yes, it certainly is. So joining us now,
Linda Chorney. Originally from Boston area, Linda Chorney. Hi, Linda. And
I'm blushing from the intro.
Among other things, you're an author, and you've written that wonderful book, It Ain't Over Till the Indie Sings, and you've got an audio book. I'm part of it.
Yeah.
She roped me into that.
Well, in fact, Linda, I have to tell you, over the last couple of days, I've spent a lot of time researching you and your career and your story, listening to the book, and Jordan's voice pops up in a lot of your life.
He is my Ed McMahon.
He's your straight guy. It's great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. I got to tell everybody, you are originally from here, but you're smart enough not to live here anymore with all the snow that we're having this winter. you were smart. But you are a hometown girl, so tell everybody where you grew up and how it all got started here.
Well, I was born in Boston at Beth Israel Hospital, right down the street from Fenway Park, where it's my life dream to sing the national anthem. I will always be, am I allowed to say masshole?
You are allowed to say it.
I am a proud masshole.
Yeah, that you are. You said lots of your family members still live here, so you do get back here.
I do.
Yeah, that's
often.
true.
Yeah.
So when did you figure out you were a singer?
In my mom's womb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it, and I was always kind of a ham. And I just want to tell people out there, if you can sing, if you have an ear, it is just a lucky gift that you have. It's nothing to brag about. I mean, it's nice to have and to develop it and make your voice stronger and work on the vocal cords because it is a muscle. But you're just lucky that you can sing, and I got lucky. That's all.
She's also a songwriter and a producer. And how many albums did you actually produce, Linda?
8.
8 albums. And
some singles here and there too.
And don't be shy, not that you are, but you've had the pleasure and the honor of performing with some rather impressive people.
Yes, I've opened for some majors, but I've always been the opening act. In fact, I have a documentary called The Opening Act. And it's been an honor to share the stage with big names like the Beach Boys, Mike McDonald, Paul Simon. I sang for Nelson Mandela in Boston. Do you remember when he came there?
At the Hat Show.
Tim?
Oh,
Tim,
I
do you
don't
that?
remember, but I'm not from here, so that there would be reason for me not to remember.
I remember.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
where
not
are you
originally from? I'm from the Midwest. I'm from St. Louis originally. So
okay.
my
Where the weather is so much nicer.
yeah, instead of 20 inches, they got 18. I think this last
Right.
go round.
Okay.
So I'm not from here, but originally anyway. But that is amazing. But Linda, let's get right to the heart of your story. The heart of your story is that, right, you have been singing. You've had some incredible success. You've got a fabulous voice, and we're going to get back to your voice here in just a second. But you've never been signed. You are an independent artist, an independent artist who 2 times, not once, but twice, has been nominated for Album of the Year Grammys.
Well, it was a Best Americana album in 2012, Amongst Legends, and then in 2022, it was for my song for for songwriting for Best American Roots Song Board that I wrote during the pandemic, and had the honor to lose to John Baptiste, and the first time the honor to lose to Levon Helm. May he rest in peace.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was not what I expected it to be. You know, when I first got nominated at age 51, or 50, something like that, somewhere in there, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was going to be my Cinderella story, and then gatekeepers in the industry tried to poop in my glass slipper. So
Yeah.
I had to adjust to that.
Yeah, I mean, and I know some of these stories that you share in your book, and it is amazing to me that she was not accepted, whether she was signed or not.
It's a true story of fighting the system, and the system doesn't like anyone to break the mold and get in their way, you know.
Right.
And it's the same in film, it's the same in broadcasting and so forth. But Linda not only persevered, but you wanted to tell your story to inspire other musicians, didn't you?
Because you don't mess with a masshole.
You don't mess with a masshole, absolutely.
That's right. Yes, if it was the last thing I was going to do, it was to tell my story, because I was unjustly accused of cheating. And it really does come down to follow the money. If somebody else didn't get the nomination, it was my fault. And it's a business with money, and a nomination can be extremely valuable. And so they tried to discredit me. It was very interesting. You know, if I stepped out of my glass slippers, I could observe and say, this is a very interesting story. And actually, it was therapy for me to write about it rather than be destroyed.
Yeah.
So it started with the first book, and the first book goes through my first nomination. But then the second nomination that happened 10 years later, and by the way, because I did get nominated, they changed the rules so that an indie couldn't get in again.
No.
But then 10 years later, a new CEO, Harvey Mason Jr., came in, and he got rid of the blocking committees, and I went for it again. And you know, the rest of that is in the book.
And you know this, Kim, that not only did she write a book, and she has a great audio book, but she decided she'd produce a film starring none other than herself.
Yes.
Which made perfect sense, and the film is hysterical. It's so well done.
It's a docudrama, right?
Yeah, it's self-funded, and
Right.
Tell us more about that.
Okay, so the movie is called When I Sing, and it's available on Amazon still. They haven't pulled it yet. The algorithms haven't taken me away. But I actually wanted Sandra Bullock to play me. I had a brilliant. My cousin happens to teach screenplay writing and is a brilliant screenplay writer. Oxford. What do you call that again? Rhodes Scholar. He's a Rhodes Scholar. And he and this other guy, Doug Rain, helped me write the screenplay because I didn't know how to write a screenplay. And I really did want Sandra Bullock to play me. I wanted to make it a big Hollywood film, and I think it still could be. And I think she'd win an Oscar. And in fact, funny little anecdote, side story, I was doing a gig in Wyoming, and one of the chapters in the book is called Searching for Sandra. And I was not stalking her, but we were trying to get in touch with her people. And I had just come from LA, and we had failed to get her. And I went to Wyoming to a gig, and the bar owner said, meet me at this bar. We'll have some drinks. We get there, we meaning, I can't tell you who, it's in the book. And and the guy says, hey, Linda, nice to meet you. I want you to meet my friend John Bullock. And Scott and I looked at each other. We're like, I can't be that guy. And it was Sandra's father.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, sir, you're not going to believe it, but I've been looking for your daughter. I want her to play me. I have this book, and I have her as my dream cast. And he's like, I can't hear it. But he ended up coming to me. He was a lovely gentleman. Ended up coming to my shows and said I was great and entertaining, but he couldn't take the book. But he said, my daughter Sandy sings. So do you know, and he calls her Sandy, Sandra Bullock actually sings.
She would be the perfect person. Yeah, she really would. That is so true.
Yeah. But again, the bottom of my bucket list was like, I'm going to have the story told, the real story. Because look, you're in media. Things get really twisted.
You bet.
It doesn't matter what business you're in. And I experienced dirty politics.
Yeah. Linda, how do people tell people how you actually get nominated? I mean, it's interesting that you were receiving nominations and yet, the industry was trying to push you out.
It was a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
I mean, you labels promote their artist. Mm-hmm. I am my label, so I promoted my artist.
Right.
And fortunately, the people responded to the music.
Right.
And I say that way because I ended up getting a publicist. I had a publicist. I didn't even know, I'd never had one before. And she, I believe, was a plant from the Americana Association. People think that my book is about exposing things about the Grammy organization, but it's not. They aren't the bad guys. The bad guys was the Americana Association, and I believe they planted a publicist on me to drive me crazy. And when she's like, you're a joke, right? You don't belong in this. And I was like, what do you mean? People wrote to me because they love my music.
Right.
She's like,
right.
Don't be defensive.
There's so much here, but one of the things that I talk with you about on my podcast is the fact that you are speaking for a huge swath of talented people, artists, musicians who are independent, now more than ever, right, with the whole industry changing. What have you heard from some of these folks, either strangers or people you know, about your story?
Oh, it's really nice. Obviously they relate to it because I am the 99% that occupied the Grammys. And I was the first person to get nominated in a major category. So it opened the floodgates for more indies to get in, which I feel good about. But it's been very nice. But then there are those who have swallowed the Kool-Aid of the false rumors about me. Hence, it was really important for me to tell my story, write the book, and make the movie. But blah, blah, blah. It was fun.
Listen, you've done some really. I'm going to veer off here for a second. You've done some really great work too, and here in Boston, we all feel very strongly about the Martin Richards story, obviously, and I want you to tell my audience how you got involved in that story and did something really spectacular.
Well, everybody was affected by that. It was absolutely a horrific day in history. And I was living out here, but I came back for my high school reunion, of all things. And there was a makeshift stage in Copley Square that had all these stuffed animals and Boston paraphernalia, and they were honoring all the people that were lost, all 4 of them. In the meantime, there was a photograph of little Martin Richard, 8 years old, holding up a sign. He had a Bruins shirt on. This went around the world. And the sign said, "No more hurting people, peace and love." And I could not get that little boy's innocent face out of my mind. And consequently, his sister lost a leg, Jane, and his mom had some damage as well. And I just couldn't get that whole family out of my mind. So at 5 o'clock in the morning, I wrote the song. It starts, I don't really know you, but I feel a little bit helpless. And when I look in your eyes, I see love. I read the sign you held up, the innocence and dreams, so lovely as you smile for the picture. No more hurting people, peace and love. Martin, I hope you hear me from above.
Yeah.
So I wrote it at 5 in the morning. I went to my high school reunion. I heard children singing on it. And I went to this classmate, Jeff Davison, and he happened to be a teacher for children in music in New Hampshire. And I said, "Do you think you could get the kids?" He said, "I'll make it happen. I'll call this guy Tom Holmes. He has a studio there." On Memorial Day, the kids took their day off. They came into the studio. We all sang. We all cried. And then I wanted to have a statue for Martin. I felt like there should be a statue of Martin holding that sign, and it has to be life-size. So I was trying to raise enough money to get that ball rolling. And, of course, the downloads were only enough for maybe the velvet cloak that would unveil it. And we sent the song. I went to the Richard family's parish in Dorchester, and my friend David Wells Roth, a brilliant painter, he painted a gorgeous portrait for 4 of the family, beautiful portrait that is now actually in the Bridgewater State Hall of Justice that is named after Martin. Mm-hmm. David also introduced me to Victoria Garina, who's a brilliant sculptor. Mm-hmm. And she, I told her my concept. She made the statue. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Yes, that's it. And eventually the statue, the painting, my song got to the Richard family. And 18 months later, I got a call from the father.
Yeah.
And he loved the song. He loved the statue. He said, "I couldn't say my son's name until now. So that's taken me this long to call you, but we're going to have the statue made. Bridgewater State is making the statue." And it was unbelievable. And I had the honor of singing at the unveiling with the mayor of Boston.
Yeah,
that's how I met Linda. I invited her on my radio show when the song broke, and we've been pals ever since.
Yeah. Well, it's lovely. It really is. And I think the song is just really fantastic. And you hear those little voices and oh boy, it just rips your heart out. So thank you for sharing that story. It's just amazing. And thank you for being such an important part of the community here. One final thing I have to ask Linda about. She compares her voice to Sheryl Crow. I went to college with Sheryl Crow. I know Sheryl Crow.
She's from the Midwest, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And, I had been listening to you singing, And I thought, oh, your voice is fabulous. I think it's fabulous. Then when I was listening to your audiobook and you said that in the book, I stopped it right there. Although you go ahead to sing just so I can hear it to determine if in fact that's true. And I went back and I listened, and you do sound like Cheryl. I think you, but at the same time,
sounds like me.
I was just going to say you have I think you're just a little richer in your voice than Cheryl is.
She has her range is incredible. My range is like 6 notes, nice and low. She's got a much higher range, but she was a lot at the end of chapter 1 when people came up to me all the time. They still do, and you sound like Cheryl. Is this her album? When I'm playing, and I'm like, no, Cheryl wanted this gig, but I got it. But at the end, this guy asked me out on a date, and I was like, hey, how do you like them apples, Sheryl Crow? All I want to do is have some food.
There you go. Exactly.
Hey, this is the book. Check this out.
Okay.
Talk about self-promotion.
All right, show it to us.
Can you see my shirt?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so great.
It ain't over till the indie sings.
You
Look at
bet.
that.
I love it.
In stripes.
And do you want to see my matching pants?
Do you promise?
I'm wearing my doggy pajamas because that's what's awesome about being a writer is you can stay home in your pajamas. This is the book, which is on Apple Books.
Yes.
If you have an iPhone, and it's on Spotify if you have a Droid, and it's also on Kobo, and it's in the library stuff. Library.
Awesome. In the library.
and the movie is still on Amazon.
Well, I really want to highly suggest that people check out the book. I went to the audiobook. I didn't have the physical book, to the audiobook. It's great fun. We really get a real sense of who you are when you read and for me listen to the book, and you narrate it, which is great fun. And my friend Jordan, he is involved as well, which is crazy.
Ways.
Yeah, which is crazy,
He's
but it's
so
really good.
He's so good.
Yeah, listen, you keep up the good fight. It's impressive. It really is. And
I'm going to put the audiobook in for a Grammy next year. Wish me luck.
Good for you. Good for you. I think that's terrific. Best of luck, and thank you, Linda, so much for being a part of the show today.
I miss you guys and all the snow.
Well, come back and see. Yeah, Fibber. when you're in town,
Kim.
be sure you stop by. I'd love to see you.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you, Jordan.
You bet. Welcome. Linda, thank you. All right, everybody, stay with us. Another guest coming your way here in just a moment. This is Kerrigan & Company. If you need a new look for lighting in your home, you need to go to Lucia Lighting and Design. The spectacular 10,000 square foot showroom inside a mansion in Lynn, Massachusetts is decorated with both architectural and decorative lighting in every style. From crystal and traditional to contemporary and modern, the selection is unmatched. Whenever I'm looking for new lighting, I head right to Lucia Lighting and Design. When I'm not sure what I'm looking for, I rely on the expert guidance of Lucia Lighting and Design's team. I know they can help me, and I know they can help you too. Learn more and book your appointment today at lucialighting.com.
If you like rum, you're going to love Rumson's Rum, New England's most award-winning rum brand. Rumson creates distinctive and savory flavor profiles by hand-selecting and marrying the finest barrel-aged Caribbean rums. The spirits are then blended and finished in the New England Rum House. Choose from Rumson's Gold, Spiced, Grand Reserve, or Coffee Rum. Find Rumson's at liquor stores or ask for it at your favorite restaurant. Learn more at rumsons.com. That's rumsons.com. Rumsons. Life lived. Life enjoyed.
This segment of Kerrigan & Company is brought to you by the North Shore Music Theater, which has just announced its spectacular 2026 season. Learn more at nsmt.org. Welcome back, everybody. So great to have Linda on the show. She was great fun, Jordan.
She's a lot of fun and a true artist who's got energy and vitality, and she'll never quit.
Jordan, I got to tell you, I hope people will listen to her book or buy the book because we laughed about it, and she certainly tells it in a comedic way. But there's a lot of seriousness about what she is telling and sharing there.
Yeah, and I don't know if she mentioned her website, but it's her name, Linda Chorney, Chorney. And
yeah.
That's the best way to get it.
Excellent. Yeah, great story. Our next guest is someone both of us know. You worked in the building, and really your newsrooms kind of overlapped for a long time there at WBZ,
Very much so.
right?
Very much so, yes.
I spent 3 really great years sitting next to this man, and I am tickled pink to have him here today. You in Boston certainly know our next guest. This is the one and only Jack Williams. Jack, hello.
Nice to see you, Kim. Jordan.
It is great to see you. I think that probably most of the folks who are watching or listening have not seen or heard from you for almost 10 years, right?
Over 10 years.
Yeah, you left in 15, right?
Right. June of, after 40 years and 3 months, I tiptoed away from the studio.
Into a warmer clime, I believe.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I just got back from my walk. I can try to do my walks every day, and it's a little chilly for this part of the world, but still 52 degrees is not bad.
Now watch it, Jack. That's a good day. So
I take that.
as you well know,
we had a second home while we were in Boston, up in Waterville Valley too. So we're used to a lot of snow.
Sure, absolutely. Well, it's so great to see you. The folks at BZ, I know, miss you very much. I had the great pleasure of having Liz here a few months back, and she said, the two of you try to stay in contact now and again.
Yeah, we do, and I keep in touch with Bob Lobel. So it's been, remain good buddies.
That's great. That's terrific. So tell us, how is life treating you there in Vegas? I wondered when you retired how well you would do, because you were a busy guy and somebody who just brought so much energy and joy to everything you were doing.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't have enough hours in the day. I take care of Marcy a little more. She had an accident a few years ago where she injured her back, so she has mobility issues. But she's the same gal. We've been married 51 years.
Oh, great.
I love history. I love reading. So, I don't know, I golf 3 days a week. I don't know.
So life
is better trouble. I do the cooking now for the grin of Marcy and everybody else.
Look at you. Life is treating you well. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm very lucky. I just got my results back for my physical. And, that's the one. I won the lottery when I have really good genes. So, I'm healthy. I have no issues. I have no excuse. I'll dream up a few.
So, Jack, when you look back on your time here in Boston, and, I had forgotten that really, like, Marcy's from, you're in Vegas. I think it's okay for us to say that.
She's from here.
Yeah, she's
and
from
this is
there.
where we met. Before I came to Boston, I was anchor and news director at the station here. I came out of Seattle.
Yeah.
And Boston came and found me, and it was the best decision we ever made. We moved back and just loved it. I love New England. I wish we could travel back right now more often, but Marcy has real trouble.
Yeah.
Staying that long in a plane. She can't do it. So,
well,
you do what you do.
Sure, absolutely. But I had forgotten that you were actually a West Coast guy. This is a guy who graduated from the University of Oregon.
Oh,
you're a duck.
I am. Yeah.
And then
I still claim to be, even after we got whooped twice by Indiana,
who then whooped Miami. But.
Yeah, right. But life here in Boston. You really made this your home, and you committed so much to this community, and were such an important part of this community. And obviously, I think you know where I'm going with this. And beyond the fact that you delivered the news each night to this community, and people relied on you with that fabulous team, but you developed Wednesday's Child, which has had left an indelible mark.
Well, it's been our pleasure. In 1981, we were looking for a way to give back. New Englanders really rallied around me. I came in 75. We had the World Series on WBZ, Boston against Cincinnati, so our numbers were through the roof, and they just kept watching. And, you're always asked to do charitable events. We were glad to do it. But Marcy and I decided we wanted to do something and kind of concentrate our efforts. And we found out that there were 5,000 foster kids in Massachusetts, many of whom were special needs. So I put together this program, and a gal in the Reagan administration named Dorcas Hardy, who was Undersecretary of Health and Human Services, heard about this. And she called me and said, "Do you mind if I come to Boston? I'd like to talk to you about this." I said, "Well, come on." And she said, "This is a good idea for stations around the country. Can we share your idea?" And I said, "Well, absolutely." So they put together a brochure and sent it to all the stations around the country. And this is Jack Williams did the following, suggests the following. And we ended up with 100 stations doing Wednesday's Child, not controlled by me. We're, we sort of happy to help them. But it's been a great success. And all's good. That's one of my daughters trying to get a hold of me.
Well, Jack,
no more money. I mean it.
You've got to grow up. Jack, when I think that you may not remember this, but I know that this was a story that I'd shared with you. But, Jordan, before I came to Boston, I worked in Des Moines, Iowa, and the social services in Des Moines came to me as an anchor and asked me if I would start a part of that franchise, Wednesday's Child, at WHO-TV. Wow. So I did. Now, I didn't do it the way, I didn't realize, I was just doing what social services had asked me to do, and we were highlighting children in the foster care program in the state of Iowa. Little did I know that eventually I'd be sitting next to the man who started it. And Jack, you did it. You did it differently than the other stations, I think, across the country did. A lot of them did it, the way that they did it in Iowa, which was great, and we were successful at placing a lot of kids. But you went further. You raised money. You had events. You did. You were intimately involved.
We ended up by raising around $14 million. A lot of it at the ski race up in Waterville Valley. We did for 30 years. And, I just looked at the Dave Thomas, Wendy's, became an instant fan for some reason. And they supported us. And Volvo really found a way to help us raise a lot of money. So to this day, by the way, that's one of the things that keep me busy. I still run the Jack and Marcy Williams Endowment for Wednesday's Child. And we give about $350,000 a year to group homes in New England.
That's amazing.
And to try to help, and it's made a big impact. I don't know where I got all that energy, but I had it then.
Well, Jack, it will certainly be a big, big part of your legacy. It is now here in Boston, and I'm sure that's something you're very proud of.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
And it was a tribute to the people in New England. It's a great part of the world. I'm not sure that the rest of the country could have rallied around a concept like New England did. Massachusetts is over 300 communities, many of whom are just across the street from each other. And New Hampshire's right there, Rhode Island, Connecticut. And almost anybody from New England, if you ask them where they're from, they'll say Boston. It's the central point. It's unique.
Right. Yeah.
And they really rallied around everything. We had a lot of fun. And, I don't regret it. I don't regret sending money today. And what we tried to do was to educate the public that because a child is a special needs child, you don't have to fear them. And I think one of the things that happened was that we could, this phone's going crazy, well, that we could identify with the children. People could identify with me as kind of like a next door neighbor or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so if the children reacted well with me, it just broke down those barriers. Mm-hmm. And we really got a lot of homes. We got the children a lot of homes that were featured. But what people don't know is we got up to 500 calls per segment. Now, not every week, but so a number of children were adopted who were similar. So it really took off.
Yeah. Each week they were just bringing so much awareness, and so people got into the system, right, Jack?
And this is before social media and before the internet, so it was all broadcast oriented. I have a question. I always love to ask questions like this to people who are so experienced. Where do you get your news from now, Jack?
Well, more newspapers than anything. I subscribe online to the Globe, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, the LA Times, and the Review Journal in Vegas. So when I get up early, which I couldn't do when I work nights, I read a lot of newspapers. And, it's a different ball game today than when Kim and I, and seeing you so often too. But then everybody watched basically 4 and 5 in the early days. I mean, they didn't have cable. You had to have one of those antennas on your roof. And so the audiences were beyond belief huge. We had, for a number of years, were the most watched station in the country with our team. And we had, I see these numbers now, all of the 11 o'clock newscasts, and I think there are like 6 of them, people in Boston can watch at 11. All 6 of those stations, the total audience is about 1/5 the size of our audience every night.
Yeah.
I mean, we just reached, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was like a power surge at 6 and 11 o'clock. And then they'd watch, before we went to CBS in the 90s, we were NBC, so they would then watch the monologue of Johnny Carson. It was just what people in New England did, period. It's
what people did all across the country, and it is amazing. You're right. It has changed so much.
The people don't want to watch anymore. They
Right.
They want instant gratification. And boy, of all the times to better keep up with the news.
Yeah, right.
So I think we're going to get through this fine. I have a great deal of faith. But I think that people better be informed. And, read books and know history, and to be careful because, in the old days, we could blow up the world with a push of a button.
Right, absolutely, Jack. You're so right. Jack, share with everybody one of your fondest, and I know that is just like asking you to name your favorite kid, but I mean, one of your fondest memories or a story that people would love to hear from you about your years at WBZ.
Well, I certainly have a lot of them. My particular favorite time was, of all things, D-Day. They sent me over for the anniversaries of D-Day a number of times, and I broadcast from the beaches. And the second time I went, where we were out for all those hours, I found New Englanders who had come ashore on D-Day of 1944, and we went to the exact spots where they had come ashore or fought, like Carentan, which was a pretty sizable battle. But, the whole Normandy invasion wasn't a day. It was 7 or 8 weeks.
Right.
And it was bloody. And it was very interesting. And to be there greatly humbled me. I'll share one quick story with you that made it interesting. Coming back from, I think it was in 94, I'd met one of the veterans from New England there, and he came back. And I was doing some story by the Old North Church. And he was around because we were going to be honest with you. We were going to have a beer afterwards. And while I was standing there, these people came up kind of shyly, and I said, hi. And they said, this is so-and-so. She's a widow. She was married to one of the guys who landed on D-Day and was killed about 2.5 weeks later. Mm-hmm. And the guy who I knew, it gives me chills to this day, named Don, he said, what was his name? He said the name. He said, you're never going to believe this. I was with him when he died.
Wow.
We were hit with a shell nearby, and he died almost instantly. His wife and widow had never remarried. And that just, I thought, oh my God. I mean, that's powerful. And there she was, anxious to find out. So they got together, and he was able to tell her a lot of stories.
Right, fill in a lot of the blanks for her, I bet.
Yeah, tough time. Tough time for those people, those guys.
Wow, you know what? That's one of those stories where the universe made that happen, right? You all just happen to be standing there, right?
Yeah, that actually happened that way. The other interesting thing was when I was going to the University of Oregon, I put myself through school by working in a newsroom at KUGN, and we had our offices at the Eugene Hotel. When Bobby Kennedy was running for president in 1968, they set up their offices in the Eugene Hotel. So I got to know Bobby somewhat, but Ethel very well. I'd seen him a lot. And of course, he went on to lose to Eugene McCarthy in Oregon. Then he went to California, won, and was assassinated by Sirhan. But I came to Boston just about 7 years, less than 7 years later. And they were very pleased to see me. And Ethel and Ted Kennedy was very, very good. And, you know, a lot of the people.
Yeah. You know, Jack, we could sit and listen. I know you have stories that are just, you know, I bet you've forgotten some of the stories. You have so many stories, right?
Well, Blizzard of 78 was a pretty big one. You know, we ended up, my co-anchor at the time, Tony Pepper, who has since died, he was in New York and couldn't get back. So I was by myself. And I was on the air 20 hours a day throughout that entire 5-day stretch. And I slept in my office. Yeah. Didn't have a change of clothes. You couldn't do anything. You know, right. And there I was. And right after that, by the way, I always carried a bag and put it in my office so I'd have at least a change of socks, etc.
The go bag.
But, yeah, it was pretty wild. I mean, that was scary times when, you know, the big storms hit New England. People forget, go back on 1978, that we had about 23 inches of snow about 5 days before. And then the blizzard of 78 hit with another 30-something inches and hurricane-force winds. And there was all those people who died on 128 and others.
Right.
You just could, once somebody gets stuck, you're stuck.
Sure, absolutely.
And it was quite a time in New England. I think those who lived through the blizzard of 78 will never forget it. And usually take their forecast pretty seriously.
Yeah, they certainly do. You know, that's an experience we hope can never happen again, thanks to technology. Yeah, that might, you know, maybe now they can forecast that a little bit better and anticipate where that would. Yeah, just in case, exactly.
Yeah. You know who started that though, George? It's going to be interesting.
Mike Dukakis.
Mike Dukakis, who was a very good supporter of Wednesday's Child, and I knew him well. And this was before I started Wednesday's Child, but he came down the Rhode Island NBC affiliate station. Their studios were totally shut down, but we still had their towers. So we were broadcast. We literally broadcast throughout much of New England. And he was coming in every night to give an update to the people who were stuck in their homes. Yep. And he started up by doing what Jordan did, just put on a sweater and came in. And it became, you know, it was just part of it. I wish I had a sweater then, but I just had my same old suit.
Right. I think if I remember correctly, Jack, you always had a shirt. You could always change your shirt. I can remember that hanging in your office there at BZ.
Remember that case, too. Yeah, I guess somebody threw an egg at.
What a delight it's been to see you. I'm so glad. I was just telling these guys, and I was showing them, someone recently sent me a photograph of a billboard with the two of us on it. And
I see that.
I'll make sure that we send that to you, and make sure that you get to see it. It was the billboard because you and I were getting ready to do the 5 p.m. news on WBZ and the new 7 p.m. news on Channel 38. And I was telling Jordan that we did it for 6 days, and 9/11 happened, and we never went back to Channel 38 again. So it was an interesting time, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's Tom Ellis was the anchor when they hired me in 75 for the transition. They started a program called First 4 News, which was at 5:30, first one ever done in Boston, and put me on it. And it was on there for 6 weeks, and the numbers were very good. And so when he left about 3 weeks, a month later, we were all on the same set. I just walked over, took the chair, and sat down. And that became a very good concept, eventually going to 5. But originally it was strictly 6.
Sure, 11. And 11. All right, absolutely. You bet.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to just say all the best to you. It's it's great to see you. You look fantastic. All the best. Please tell Marcy I said hi.
I'll do it.
Please do.
She's the same mentally. She knows how to put me in my place in heartbeat.
She's still handling you. I love that about her.
You got that right.
Jack Williams, you are a legend here, my friend, and it's great to see you. Thank you so much.
Okay, and it's just wonderful to see you both.
Thank you. Thank you. Continued
Jordan, be good.
success. All right.
I almost called you Russell, because now I'm looking at you, and Russell in the basketball days eventually grew a beard. And so,
Oh, my goodness. I've never been referred to as a Bill Russell lookalike, but I'll take whatever I can get.
That's it. Exactly.
You both are doing great.
Thanks, sir. We'll see you soon. Take care. All right, everybody. We're going to take a quick break and wrap things up on the other side. This is Kerrigan and Company. My friends at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly are all about you feeling and looking your best, exuding confidence. They listen to their clients and offer the services and attention needed for optimal results. And now they're excited to introduce their new esthetician, Jen. Jen specializes in brows and lashes, which means Sienna is now offering brow lamination, lamination and tint, henna, semi-permanent micro shading, and full luscious lashes. Make your appointment today. Jen is available on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Go to siennaaesthetics.com. This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa. Take years off your face with the very latest technologies at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Kerrigan and Company. And of course, this is when we wrap things up in this segment. Jordan Rich keeping me company today. Very fun guest today. I'm so happy that you were here with them.
You are a delight. I've known you for so many years, and I've never sat in a TV studio with you. So this is,
right.
This is different for me, but you're used to this. And you are exceptional.
Well, that is kind of you to say. Thank you so much. Now, listen, before we go, a couple things. First off, you cannot share this hour with me and not have to be a victim of the Fast Five.
I'm ready. I've heard all about this.
So it's rapid fire questions. We'd like for you to answer all of them within 30 seconds. And if you're ready, sir, here we go.
Go for it.
Whose voice is instantly recognizable to you when you hear it?
James Earl Jones.
Who has been one of your favorite guests on your podcast, On Mic, with Jordan Rich?
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
Of Marvel Comics.
Oh, I love that. What game show do you think you would be really good on?
As a contestant? Mm-hmm. I think I'd do pretty well with Jeopardy, actually.
What's the nickname that people call you the most?
JR.
And what is the best concert that you've ever seen?
This is a good one. I'm a jazz fan. Lionel Hampton, who played the vibes, with the Widespread Depression Orchestra, Boston Globe Jazz Festival, circa 1981.
Wow. Let me tell you, Parkinson's has not affected your memory.
No, that's clear. For sure. I got a lot of ephemeral stuff, but it's not going anywhere.
I want to tell everybody about the books. Again, our producer said he wants to read this, and I would love to read it as well. It's My 50-Year Love Affair with Radio by Jordan Rich. You can get this at Jordan's website, and I'm going to imagine you can get this on Amazon as well, correct?
Yes.
And then finally, Jordan's Rich Journey. And this one is a path of purpose, strength, and hope with Parkinson's. This one wasn't written by Jordan, but Jordan is a participant in this book. And this is one that if you have questions or you just want to learn more about Parkinson's, this is certainly, and the lifestyle that it brings about, that's a book that you won't want to miss. You know, we talked about, you're so open and candid, and I so appreciate that. I really do, because you're making a difference in a lot of people's lives by doing that. You realize that, right? You recognize that.
Thank you. Again, I'm not looking for any hero praise, but I remember years ago on air in the late night covering 38 states in Canada, I would talk about other things that were very personal. And when I did that, it was freeing for me and freeing for others. Mm-hmm. So as a communicator, I think it's the gift we can give back.
What is it that you hope? You've just said, just talking about things is freeing, but what is it that you hope your story can do for others?
Well, I hope it inspires people to a certain extent to not give up and not give in, mm-hmm. knowing that it's tough, knowing that it's a slog, and knowing that, but reminding people that there are things you can do to at least feel better every day. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've been learning, and I'm still learning, and I'm developing holistic approaches as well as medical approaches. Yeah. So not to give up, just hang in there.
That's going to have to be your next book, Well, some of the ways that you've,
some of
step
it's
by
in this
step.
current one, but I just today got off the phone with somebody about olive oil. That I'm going to purchase. particularly high grade of it. So there's all kinds of things you can do.
Sure.
Health is something we take for granted. Everybody knows. If you got your health, you got everything. Well, I know that better than anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you are a shining example for people who have Parkinson's, but for anybody who's fighting, a disease like this. I think you're a shining example. Your attitude is fantastic, and this part of it is the toughest part, I'm sure.
It is the toughest part, but you know what? Empathy is something that I've always prided myself on having for others. I now have more empathy for myself, and I realize that people out there in the community that I'm involved with care. So that means a lot.
Jordan Rich. Again, we know the books. The podcast is...
It's called On Mic with Jordan Rich, available wherever you get your audio podcast.
I love that. And we can still hear you on WBZ on a regular basis.
Absolutely. I'm on all weekend. You'll hear me. You can't avoid me.
Who wants to do that? That's for sure. Jordan, thanks for coming in. I'm so glad we could finally figure out this time to be together.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Continued health. And thank you all for being a part of Kerrigan & Company today. So glad you could be here. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure you subscribe and be sure you follow us on all social media. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan & Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan & Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan & Company is David Thompson, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.